Good day, everyone. This is Emeralda speaking, and you are watching the highlights from today, brought to you by the IPC Broadcast. To start off, in the United Nations Environmental Assembly, it appears that the discussion of water privatization and sanitation has been spearheaded by the wonderfully named Blue Lock Bloc, brought to you by RT News.
Good morning from RT News. The United Nations Environmental Assembly is currently discussing the role of the private sector in addressing water and sanitation difficulties in developing economies. There has been near unanimous support from the delegates, with a large bloc named the Blue Lock being formed, and they are currently working on the issue at hand. They plan to regulate the private sector and give them rights to run the sanitation systems, of which the delegates have been overwhelmingly in support for. They plan to collaborate with local authorities on the matter and promise transparency of the project in the future. However, despite the strong support to improve water conditions in developing economies, progress has been slow, with several delegates, many of them showing inexperience, have been reiterating the same message. However, it appears a few leading figures such as Germany and the United States have risen in the Council. Discussing it, we have the chair of the Council to share a few words. Greetings, this is from RT News, and we have the chair of the UNEA Council. So, question one, which delegate do you believe has made the best point so far?
I think there have been a few delegates who've given quite good and concise points. Among them are the delegate of UK, Germany, United States, and a few other delegates are coming up with very good solutions, concrete ones. Let's see if they can bring them through the resolution.
Okay. The question two is, what do you think is the progress of the Council?
I think the Council is progressing rather slow than what we expected. But right now, because they are in an unmoderated caucus with a possible extension, I hope and the Dias will very favorably look upon a draft resolution really soon.
Thank you so much.
Up next, on update on Malayan independence, it appears that the Malayan Parliament has booked a business flight class to carry further negotiations in Great Britain. Brought to you by Deutsche Welles.
Good afternoon, fellow delegates. This is the journalist of DW. Today, I will be mentioning what happened in the HDR Council. As you can see in the video, some of the members of the historical Dewan Rakyat Parliament has continued their journey to Malaya independence by boarding the plane in business class to privately negotiate deals between the Britain and the Malayan colony. Britain and the Malayan colony has been conducting ongoing negotiations covering topics such as defense, education, and military, and more. Within the negotiations, Britain mentioned that they are willing to support Malayan colony and help stabilize the country after their newly independence. As the Malayan side raised their concerns about the lack of infrastructure and military weapons, Britain promised that they can lend a helping hand. Joint training forces are also promised between the Britain and the Malayan colony. The British Empire promises their priority to support the Malayan colony and also wishes to maintain some military presence and this joint effort between the Malayan colony and the British Empire. Meanwhile, the other delegates in HDR have three choices as to what they can discuss. As of now, they are arguing over what course of action they should take against the communists attacking federal buildings. This leads to the council wanting to adopt a defense strategy to protect federal buildings in Johor and Perak. This is your journalist Shane from DW News signing off now. Stay tuned for more news from SUNMUN 2025.
Coming up next, 3 working papers have been simultaneously raised in ASEAN by the nations Malaysia, Singapore, and Thailand. More on that by XinHua News.
As for now, a significant step forward was taken today in ASEAN as both the delegates of Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand formally introduced 3 working papers simultaneously. For one of the working papers, it excelled significantly, which is the working paper introduced by Malaysia. With China's close ties with Malaysia, we support firmly on its working paper where a mobile skills clinic and an application that enhances regional cooperation to eliminate poverty is introduced. Here's a feedback speech by the Prime Minister of Singapore, Lawrence Wong.
Firstly, a national or regional database recording regions of poverty is, I think, a fundamentally flawed idea in that it plans the economy for the region. China has tried it before, and some regions ended up being wealthier than the other. So you will inevitably create the same issue, but they just show up in different places.
The sponsors and the Council are hopeful that this document will serve as the foundation for a consensus resolution. This is Tofu from XinHua News Agency.
Last but not least, the Disarmament Committee had just hosted the first press conference of this event. Having just introduced Draft Resolution 1.1, it appears that the delegate of India had much to comment about others' foreign policies. Whether that is right or wrong, we have no further comments. More to you from Agence France Presse.
This right in, I'm currently standing outside of room 64, where a press conference in the DISEC Council has just been adjourned, where major questions has just been addressed by the delegates of India, Israel, and many others. Here are some highlights from the press conference.
We have been continuously approaching the neutral side since day one. We have been proposing solutions. We have been trying to make amendments. We have been trying to compromise with the neutral side since day one. But the neutral side has been very vague to us, very unfair to us, and they've been siding with China. We didn't know that they were merging until now, which shows that they haven't been transparent throughout this whole council. And we will not stand this hypocrisy by the neutral side and the Chinese side because, once again, we don't want propaganda. We are the United Nations. We are never the divided nations.
First and foremost, China would like to clarify, China is a peaceful country, willingly to contribute and to collaborate with all kinds of nations, including Israel. We have some certain economic ties with Israel, showing that we are not biased, and we only hope for one and foremost, the peaceful of the Middle East and nuclear weapon-free zone. Therefore, China would like to reaffirm that it is a fair and also sovereign and non-interference country that understands and respects all legitimate concerns of countries.
Alright, wonderful. Follow-up? Granted, very fast.
So, do you think your delegation would also compromise in the DR 1.1 of the Western Bloc?
This delegate would not likely compromise with the DR proposed by India and its colleagues, as the draft resolution can be seen double standard and is not towards a more peaceful and substantive negotiation for an establishment of the nuclear weapons in the Middle East.
That will be all for this special edition of AFP. Thank you for tuning in.
That is all for today. Be sure to keep up to date with more headlines via the hashtag News Releases Forum. This has been Emeralda speaking for the IPC Broadcast, and Salam Malaya Madani.